Tesla is seeing some serious sales declines in areas around the world that it once dominated. So in this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts about that as a new Tesla owner and what it also could mean for folks that are interested in purchasing a new Tesla for 2025. But first, my name is John with Blackbird Productions, and if you're new to the channel, welcome to my little corner of YouTube. Here I create videos like this every week, just talking about the latest automotive news that caught my eye over the past week. I also create car reviews every month and also some other car-centric content. So if you love cars as much as I do, definitely consider subscribing. And also don't forget to leave a like on the video if you thought this information was helpful. Definitely would appreciate it, and thank you in advance. All right, so for a lot of this video, I'll be sourcing my information from this article that was written by Patrick George from Inside EVs. I'll link the article in the description below so you can read the full article, but this is one of maybe a plethora of different articles that I've seen just talking about Tesla sales around the world in general. So to start, I want to just do a quick little recap of just Tesla sales. And I know this section is probably going to be a little bit boring, so I've actually made some chapters so you could skip to just like my thoughts as well as what it might mean for EV buyers looking for a new Tesla. You can check that out in the description, or you could just use the chapter skipping feature that YouTube has. But I think talking about just the overall sales landscape in terms of just Tesla sales versus other EV manufacturer sales is important just for this overall video. So first, California being the EV haven of the United States and one of the most popular states in the country for Teslas has seen EV sales level off within the past year, which according to a lot of reports, Tesla is leading that level off by a reported 11.6% drop in new car registrations, while other brands within that same region saw a 1.4% increase, which is it's pretty interesting. I'm interested to see like what those other manufacturers are that are leading sales that aren't Tesla, just because I've always, like for years, I've always known Tesla being like the brazen bull when it comes to just EV sales in general. It's just interesting. And maybe, you know, for folks that are just looking at the whole political situation, they might be jumping ship essentially, which we'll talk about. Anyway, the second thing is Inside EVs says the story gets worse in other parts of the world, in Germany particularly, where Tesla was once a long-time EV sales leader. And it says even as new entries from Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, and various Chinese brands started showing up around that area, sales declined a whole 60% in January alone, which is just truly insane. Imagine if that happened in the US. But granted, the US is like 5 countries combined, and it probably makes up a large chunk of Tesla sales in general. But 60% decline in sales, that is insane. That's like bankruptcy territory for a lot of companies. I mean, I feel like that's past bankruptcy. That's just like, you know, on the street begging for money at that point. But anyway, the story continues. In France, where Tesla saw a 63% decrease in sales last month, which was another large market for them in an earlier year. These sorts of trends have been repeating in pretty much every major market Tesla has a foot in. And it's just honestly not looking good for just like Tesla as a company, as an automotive company. And instead of listing out every single region, because there's a lot, I'm just going to jump into my thoughts and what you might expect as a prospective buyer for a new Tesla. So the first thing is you can't talk about Tesla without talking about the big man himself, and that is Elon Musk. And he has been quite the popular figure these past couple of weeks. And I follow Reddit a lot. I've said this before in countless other videos, but it's where I get a lot of my news and I get ideas for videos and things like that. Videos like this, like the one you're seeing now, that actually spawned from a Reddit post. And it's just not looking good just for Tesla in general, just because of what Elon Musk is doing. It's actually kind of interesting because I remember like way back when people were teasing other people for purchasing a Tesla because of their political affiliation. And now it's basically come full circle. And those same people are still getting teased. Plus, they're also jumping ship to other EV brands. So it's just interesting how that all lays out. But if you've been with the channel for a little while, you probably already know I don't really have much of a political affiliation with any party. I think both parties have good policies and good people. And I also think both parties have bad policies and terrible people. So I don't really land in one camp or another. I'm actually smack dab in the middle, which you could say gives gives me this somewhat unbiased perspective when it comes to looking at these sorts of issues. But the fact of the matter is Elon Musk is in politics now, which from the looks of it, he stands fully with what Trump is doing and everything else that's going on with the administration. And that's kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So understandably so, a lot of people are just jumping ship to other brands. I've seen some Reddit posts where people were previously shopping around for a Tesla and now they're opting in to purchase an EV competitor to Tesla just because of his political affiliation and the fact that, you know, he's into Nazi stuff and all this kind of stuff. And quite frankly, I don't really blame them. When you purchase a car like this from a very controversial company to begin with, you kind of have to separate the man from the machine, so to speak. I know it's like a huge cliche, but I really do believe that you can still enjoy this car without necessarily being too intertwined in the politics behind it. Now, it is another thing altogether if, you know, for example, Tesla completely abandons their data privacy policies or do something like totally left field to screw over consumers who are buying Tesla cars. That is a whole nother thing altogether. But the fact of the matter is that hasn't happened, thankfully. But on the other hand, now that he's in office, he kind of has like free reign to really do what he wants. And I feel like that's where another part of the fear comes from with owning a EV that is also connected at all times. But anyway, despite everything that has unfolded so far, I will say that if Tesla sales continue to decline, and this actually goes back to my predictions around what will happen to new Teslas in general for this year. But my thought is if they keep declining in sales in other regions, including the US, you'll start to see more and more enticing incentives when it comes to purchasing a new Tesla, which is why I'm a huge proponent of just waiting until later on in the year to purchase a new Tesla, because fact of the matter is Tesla is very, very known for rotating out new sales incentives. It seems like every quarter. It was pretty aggressive going into Q4 of last year. So that was around November, December. It seemed like they had like a new enticing incentive almost every week, just because I'm sure they were trying to push out old Model Y inventory. But my thought is if they can't sell this car, then they'll have to either bump down the price to peak back demand, or they'll have to offer some really, really juicy incentives. And chances are, if you are someone who is interested, who's still interested in buying a Tesla, I know they've sort of leveled off in interest. I know that for a fact, just because of just, you know, the YouTube analytics and things like that. I know that for a fact, just because I'm a YouTuber and I always talk about, you know, Teslas and stuff, because I own one and I enjoy documenting my experience with my Tesla. But the fact of the matter is it's definitely leveled off in interest. But chances are, if you are in the market for a new Tesla, I would wait until those incentives come around, because I have a very, very deep feeling that the new Model Y, although it's going to get a lot of people excited for Tesla again, I don't think it will do as well as they think it will. And it definitely won't outsell the outgoing model either, that model being the most popular crossover in the world. So those are my thoughts around just the Tesla sales in general, and also how it might impact new buyers for Teslas. I wanted to talk about this just because, again, I just thought it was really interesting just looking at the articles and just reading all the Reddit posts and things like that. Honestly, it's just a very interesting time we're living in. So if you have some thoughts, I definitely want to hear them. I want to start a conversation, honestly. So if you have some thoughts, definitely feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and also leaving a like on the video. Like I said in the beginning, I create videos like this every week, just talking about stuff that's on my mind. And I also make some other exciting car-centric content on this channel. So definitely check out that other content. My name is John with Blackbird Productions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.